Welcome to today's video. We're looking at addition law of probability. Recall the last video we introduced probability. In this video, we're going to talk more about the addition law of probability and the product law of probability. So we're starting right away with the addition law of probability. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe, share, and like the video. If there's a topic you want me to teach, put it in the comment section. If you have a question, put it there in the comment section and I will respond as soon as possible. So let's look at the addition law of probability. Now, the probability of A or B or C to happen is the sum of their individual probabilities. So it means probability of A plus probability of B plus probability of C. Now, what this simply means is that whenever you see the word OR and probability, it tells you this is OR, that you're going to use the addition law to solve it. So what you do is to look for the probability of A, look for the probability of B, look for the probability of C, and then you add them together. Well, we always need a question or an example to help us understand this concept. And yeah, you have a question already. So let's look at this question together on how we can apply the addition law of probability. A number is chosen at random from the set 2, 4, 6. It continues to 20. Now find the probability that it is either a factor of 18 or a multiple of 5. Now, first of all, the first thing you do is to write out the complete set of numbers you have there. The complete set of numbers are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and 20. So they are all even numbers. Once you've done that, the next step is to write out the factors of 18. So what are the factors of 18? Now remember what a factor is, a number that can divide a given number without a remainder. The factors of 18 are 2. Now remember, the factors of 18 can be numbers outside the set. For example, 3 is a factor of 18, but I don't need it here because the question says the probability that the number I chose is a factor of 18 from this set of numbers. So the numbers I'm going to write here as the factors of 18 will be numbers that are in this set, which are also factors of 18. So 3 is a factor of 18, but it's not in this set, so I'm not going to write it. The next number should be 6. 6 is a factor of 18, and it's in this set. The next factor is 9, but 9 is not in this set, so I'm going to leave it out. I'll go to the next factor. The next one is 18. So these are the 3 factors. So those are the ones we need because they are the ones in the set given. Then we'll go to multiples of 5. Now again, in writing the multiples of 5, you have to write those numbers that are multiples of 5, which are also in this set. Those are what we required. For example, 5 is not here, so I'm not going to write 5. But 10 is a multiple of 5, and it's here, so I'm going to write it. The next multiple is 15, but 15 is not in the set, so I'm not writing it. And after 15, the next one is 20, and 20 is in the set, so I'm going to write it. So here, I've gotten the probability that it's a factor of 18, which is 1 to 3 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's the possible outcome. Then I go for the next one, which is the probability that is multiples of 5. Multiples of 5 will be how many elements do you have here? 2. So that's the required outcome. Then the possible outcomes are the number of elements you have in the set of counted above 4, and that's 10. And the question says, find the probability that it is either a factor of 18 or, so remember this word, or. And because of this word or, we're using the addition law of probability to express them. So this will be P of F plus P of M, which gives you 3 out of 10 plus 2 out of 10. If you solve this, it's going to be 3 plus 2 out of 10, which is 5 out of 10. And if you divide, it's 1 out of 2. If you want to leave your answer in fraction, 0.5. Decimal fraction rather. So either you leave your answer as 1 over 2 or you express it as a decimal, 0.5. That's the solution to the question. Now let's move over to the product law of probability. The probability of A and B and C to happen is the product of their individual probabilities. Now, in the case of product law, what to look at for is A and D. And so, whenever you see this word A and D and join into sets, it tells you that you are using the product law of probability. So the probability of A and B and C to happen, it's probability of A multiply probability of B multiply probability of C. This is the product law. Again, for us to understand this, let's apply it by solving two questions. The first question you have here is 5 girls and 3 boys put their names in a box. One name is picked out at random. Without replacing the first name, a second name is picked out at random. What is the probability that both names are girls? Please pay attention to the question very well. It's important. Probability, a little mistake you make could render your solution incorrect. 5 girls, 3 boys. Their names are put in a box. That's understood. A name is picked at random. That is the first picking. But in the second picking, there was no replacement of the name. So without replacing the first name that was picked, a second name is picked out at random. So what's the probability that both names are girls? So we have 5 girls and 3 boys. Now, if this is the first picking, what is the probability of picking a girl? It is 5 because there are 5 girls. Out of the total number of names there, 5 plus 3, it's 8. First picking. Now let's go to second picking. In the second picking, it was also a girl that was picked because the question says, what is the probability that both names are girls? So in the second picking, what would be the probability of picking a girl? Now at this point, the first picking has reduced the number of names because it was not replaced. Remember, the question says without replacing the first name. So if 1 is removed from 8, it means there will be 7 left. And if one name has been picked out of the girls, it means there will be 4 girls names that are left. So it will be 4 out of 7. So the question says, what is the probability that both names are girls? Which means, what is the probability of picking a girl and a girl? Or the probability of picking the name of a girl and the name of a girl? So that word and can also be interpreted as both. So that gives us 5 out of 8 multiply 4 out of 7. And thus 4 can divide 8 to be 2, and that gives you 5 out of 14. So this is the solution to the question. Now let's look at the second question under the product law of probability. Now there's a difference between the first question we just solved and this second question we're about to solve now. Now let's read it and see the difference. A box contains 5 red balls and 4 white balls. A ball is selected from the box at random. It is replaced. Now take note, the first question without replacement, but this one, it is replaced. And the second ball is selected at random. And find the probability of selecting A, 2 red balls, B, 2 white balls, C, 2 balls of the same color, and D, 2 balls of different colors. Now the question may be technical, but not difficult to solve. So let's go on and solve this question. Now let's start with the A question. First of all, we have 5 red balls and 4 white balls. So remember that. So the total number of balls is 9. Okay? Now let's look at the probability of picking 2 red balls, which is the A question. The probability of picking a red ball is 5 out of 9. Now this is the first picking. And the second picking is also going to be 5 out of 9. Why? Because it was replaced. And the question says there were 2 picking. So what's the probability that the 2 picking, they are red balls? So this will be 5. Probability it is arrow and arrow, which is both are red, or picking of a red and a red. Because of the word and, it's going to be 5 multiply 9, and 5 out of 9 multiply 5 out of 9. That gives you 25 out of 81. So that's the answer to the question. And let's move to the B part. that the two are white balls. Now, how many white balls do you have there? Four. See the same thing. So the probability of picking two white balls, whites, is going to be 4 out of 9 multiply 4 out of 9, since there are two pickings. And this is 16 out of 81. Now let's go to the C question. The C question is this: two balls of the same color. Now remember the A question we solved, they are red. That's the same color. And the second one we solved, they are white. That's the same color. So what is the probability of picking two balls of the same color? So the probability of this question, the probability of selecting two balls of the same color is the same thing as the probability of selecting two red balls or two white balls. Two red balls or two white balls. Now see the word or here. So the probability of selecting two red balls, we'll solve it in question number A. That's 25 out of 81. Or addition, the probability of picking two white balls is what we solve in option B, question B, and that's 16 out of 81. If you solve this is 81, 25 plus 16, and that gives you 41 out of 81. That's the answer to the question. I guess you can solve the last question, which is question D. Find the probability of selecting two balls of different colors. What are you thinking you're going to do? You already know the solution for two balls of the same color. So all you need to do to get two balls of different color is to say 1 minus the answer you got in question C, which is 41 out of 81. If you solve this, it's going to be 81 minus 41, divide 81, which is 40 out of 81. So that's the solution to question D. Another way you can do this to see that you are correct, and I can leave that as for you to do as your assignment or your homework. Another way to do it, you can think of another method to solve this and see if you're going to get 40 out of 41. For you to do that is very easy. Two balls of different colors. Remember, there are two picking. So the first one will be for the red picking. The second one will be for the white picking. Once you do that, whatever you get, you add it to different picking now. The first picking should be a different color this time. It could be you're picking a white ball before picking a red ball. And so you add them together, you multiply and add them together, whatever you get will be the answer to the question. Now, if you're wondering what I'm saying is this, let me put it here so that you see. Now, here, you're going to do something like this. You're going to still get the same answer, 40 out of 81. There are two picking, and there are two balls of different color. So the first picking can be for the red ball, which is 5 out of 9. That multiply, the second picking will be white, 4 out of 9. So you've done that picking. Plus, different color, now we're starting with a white color, 4 out of 9, multiply 5 out of 9. So multiply these together, sum them up, whatever you get is the answer to question D. If it is the same with this, it means you are correct. So let me know if you get the same answer with the previous method I used in solving question D. Thank you for watching. Again, remember to subscribe if it is your first time in this channel. Share the video, like. If there's any question, put it in the comment section. Put a topic that you want me to teach. And remember to solve the alternative way of getting the answer to question D. See if you get the same answer when you solve what I just did there. See you in the next video.